What are you eating there, by the way?
Melted granola bar from Hot Hands in the jacket pocket.
Hey guys, what's up? We're here at Lake Ouachita today with my buddy Jimmy, and Jimmy's a little bit of a stick out here on Ouachita, and so...
Don't give me too much credit, no. Not as much stick as other guys.
But hopefully I won't have to find them all today. He's got some places that he has in mind that we can go fish, so that'll be nice. And it's, what, like 23 degrees right now? 23
degrees, it's cold. Yesterday I never got above freezing. The fish are biting though.
They're biting, hopefully. So we're gonna try to fish out deep today and get on some fish, so stay with us. Okay, Jimmy, what's happening?
Steering cable's froze. That's how cold it is.
Oh man. So my steering cables are literally frozen, can't turn the engine. So we're gonna call an audible. We're just gonna start here in this creek. There's a bunch of good fish in this creek, so we're gonna start here in Crystal Springs and let the engine run and wait for these steering cables to warm up. So we'll maybe do some boat running shots after that, but maybe we'll catch something, who knows. Oh, it's happening. It's turning. It's just happening. Guys, we are on it right now. We're about to head to a real spot, start fishing all of these community holes. We gotta get Jimmy unhung from this jig real quick, but then we're headed to some prime water, right Jimmy?
Yeah, I better not lose my jig.
Ooh, I got a better idea. Got him? Get him. Ooh. Finally, dude, I'm tangled up. Let me put this rod down. Good one? Get him up here. That's a chunky spot. Look at that spot. Oh, they're here. Let me get this. You hold up to the camera. That is a toad. That's like a 3-pound spot, 2 3/4 pounder. Man, put that thing in the live well. Yeah, awesome. What's up, guys? So, it's actually 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We've been fishing for how long? Like, I guess 7 hours, and haven't had a bite pretty much all day. We had a few bites. Had a 4-pounder come up on a trap, and we missed it, but I don't know, it's been a really tough day. It's super cold, and we finally came back to some water that we knew had fish on it. We were kind of experimenting all day with new water, and what we heard for 2 minutes, and Jimmy just caught a
second cast.
Second cast. Jimmy's caught that nice spot, so hopefully we'll be able to figure out how to catch some more fish here and put a show together. But all we're fishing here is just the island, and there's a really nice point out in front of us, and you can see the standing timber, and then there's actually some grass on this point too, and Jimmy was just working that jig down on the edge of this grass, and it's just a perfect spot to find some winter bass right now. Okay, so I normally like to show you guys the exact spots I'm fishing using Navionics and Google Earth, but today we were on a lot of Jimmy's spots, and he told me not to give away all of his secret areas, and so I'm going to respect that, and I'm just going to show you guys spots that look similar to the areas we were fishing and places I've caught fish on before around Lake Ouachita. So here's an area on Lake Ouachita that's similar to the place where Jimmy just caught that nice spotted bass, and I've actually caught fish here before as well, and all it is a little island that has a creek channel running right by it, and this little point here has some grass on it, and fish like to move up out of the creek channel onto that grass point to feed, and it's just a great spot to catch bass in the wintertime. We should have been in here all day. I don't know what we were doing, but we were trying new water. Caught a nice walleye. I'll show you guys that here. That was pretty fun.
That's a huge saw guy. That is fast. Look at that thing. That's good.
Got him. Jimmy is on fire today. Nice. Good fish. That's number 2 right there for Jimmy. Caught that one again on that 3/4 ounce football head jig. We're fishing out here down a kind of steep, rocky bank. It's a spot where we've caught fish in the past quite a bit, and it's just a you know, kind of like a bluffy bank and has some grass down it, and it's a really good area to catch some fish in the wintertime. And again, on that 3/4 ounce football head jig, which a lot of people would kind of be afraid to fish a 3/4 ounce jig when it's 30 degrees outside, and we're throwing it pretty shallow, you know, probably up right on the bank, but we seem to have a lot of luck fishing this 3/4 ounce jig in grass and just down bluff walls like this. Catches a lot of big fish for us. And I don't know, I think it's just because what, people don't really fish a 3/4 ounce jig, they always fish finesse jigs and stuff.
Yes, I think people are scared of these, but I've caught 12 inches on a big old 3/4 ounce jig. I mean, that's just,
Oh yeah.
I have more confidence in a bigger jig than a light jig.
Yeah.
I feel it better down in deeper water. For a light jig, I don't even know if it's down there.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem to bother them if it's heavier.
Catching 12-inch fish are fun, but we also throw these to try to catch the big ones.
Yeah. My reel won't reel. Get up here, fish. My reel's not reeling. Another little one. There we go.
Catching fish.
That's number 3 in like an hour after abandoning all the other stuff from the main lake. We came back in this creek, and I mean, that's 3 fish in an hour and 15 minutes. So not a bunch of big ones, but hey, we're catching fish. Again, same exact bank, just fishing that jig nice and slow on the edge of this grass line. And when you get these cold front conditions, really what you want to look for is grass by deep water. And we did a lot of that today. We actually got some bites doing it, but it's just kind of tough when you fish grass. You have to find those stretches that have good fish on them, and they'll normally be the same stretches every single year. And so we know in this creek 3 or 4 really good stretches that always have fish on them, and so that's why we came in here. We spent the whole day looking for other stretches and just wasn't happening. But
I'm glad you caught a fish.
oh, got a bass, didn't get skunked.
Okay, so again, I can't show you the exact bank we were fishing, but this is a bank that's pretty similar, and I've caught fish on it before as well. And all it is a steep rocky bank that has a creek channel running down the side of it. And there's actually some good grass right off the shore here. And the grass will go out to about 18 feet of water and then drop straight into the channel. And those fish will sit right on the edge of the creek channel in the grass and ambush bait that comes by. So Jimmy actually caught one more fish off this bank while I was messing with one of my cameras, and so that makes 4 fish for the day, and we actually decided to move off this bank to a new area to try to find a kicker.
I came in over there with all that.
Got him. Good one. Oh yeah. There we go. Woo! That's what I'm talking about, dude. Yes! 3/4 ounce football jig right there. Dude, it's been such a grind, you have no idea. Finally pulled up on one of our favorite little ditch spots. It's just a ditch leading into this pocket, and there's standing timber and stuff in here, and there's a bunch of grass, and we've caught some toads out of this spot before, and pays off again. Woo! It's awesome, dude. Oh, that's awesome.
Now we got a coal.
Yeah, so just fishing right here down this little channel swing that swings into this pocket, and you actually can't see it on Navionics. I'll show you a picture from my Lake Master chip. Lake Master is just another mapping chip that you have for the Humminbird units, and you can see a nice little ditch running in here.
So this is actually one of my spots, and I don't mind giving up any of my spots to y'all, but all this is a little creek that runs into a flat, creating a ditch, and it's a really great spot to find winter bass. And the spot where I actually caught that fish was right where those contour lines get really close together, and that indicates a sharp drop. And here's another look at the spot using Google Earth, and I was told a few years back while fishing tournaments on Lake Ouachita that the fish like to get in ditches in the winter, and I didn't really know what a ditch was, and so I want to explain that to y'all real quick. So a ditch is basically anywhere where a creek channel runs into a shallow flat. And normally there's going to be grass on the outside edges of these ditches on Lake Ouachita. And ditches are great because they allow fish the ability to move into the ditch in the deeper water when you get a cold front, but then they can move up onto the flat when the water warms up and they want to start feeding. So if we zoom in against the spot where we were fishing today, these bass in the winter are going to sit right on the edge where the grass and the creek channel or the ditch meet. And one mistake I used to make all the time when I was fishing grass lines is that I would put my boat too close to the grass line. I'd actually put my trolling motor almost on the edge of the grass and then make a long cast up onto the flat, and by the time I drug my bait about halfway back to the boat, I'd reel it in and I would never put my bait in front of the fish. So one thing you want to do when you're fishing a grass line or a ditch is to keep your boat about 30 to 40 feet away from the edge of the grass so that when you make your cast, the bait lands about maybe 15 or 20 feet from the edge of the ditch, and then you can drag that bait all the way to the edge and actually into the ditch or the creek channel, and you're gonna need a lot more fish and a lot more bites that way. So here's an image of this spot using the side scan on my Humminbird, and the image isn't that great because I was kind of dodging trees while I was recording this, but you can actually see the grass over here on the right side of the screen, and grass just normally looks like a fuzzy blob on the screen, and then you can actually see some of the trees out in the center of the ditch out to the left side, and you can see that nice clean break where the grass stops and the creek channel or the ditch starts.
Okay, so I want to talk to the bait that we're catching all these fish on real quick. What we're throwing is a 3/4 ounce Strike King football jig, and I'm throwing mine in the green pumpkin color with a green pumpkin Menace Grub, and Jimmy's throwing his in a peanut butter and jelly color with a sapphire blue Rage Craw. The trailer doesn't seem to matter too much here in the grass, but that 3/4 ounce football jig is always really good for us around grass in the wintertime. You would think the football jig's head wouldn't come through the grass really well, but for some reason it seems to work great, and we catch a lot of big fish on it. Maybe not as much today, but you saw that last one was pretty good, and we will catch a lot of fish like that on this bait. So try it next time if you're fishing a grassy lake in the winter.
And here are just some pictures of some fish Jimmy and I have caught over the years on that 3/4 ounce football head jig in the grass in this area. And it's been a really good technique for us over the years, so you should definitely try it.
Well guys, it's getting pretty dark here, so we're gonna call it a day. Probably not the best day we've had in Ouachita, but in the last like hour and a half here, we put a limit in the boat for like maybe 9-10 pounds. So
10 pounds, yes.
It's not bad when it's 30 degrees outside.
Yes, we just wanted to go out and try some new things today on the main lake, and of course it didn't come through for us. Came back to the water we're used to, and still caught some fish.
Yeah, but hopefully you learned something about fishing this 3/4 ounce jig in the winter and how to catch fish when the fishing's super tough and super cold. So either way, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and if you did, hit like and subscribe down below and leave a comment if you have any questions. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.